So, it's called LTT Group. It stands for Looking to Tomorrow. And ultimately, the way that we see it is from my background, which I'll talk a little bit about in a more. We turn risk into growth. So we do specialize in growth, but we look at it from a risk point of view. And just before we start, so a little bit about myself. I am a dad of two. I'm a Royal Navy veteran. I joined the Royal Navy at 16 because, quite frankly, I was absolutely shit at school. And Navy was the only people that take me. Did my qualifications in the armed forces. Since then, I've done 19 years in the corporate world, always focusing on the sustainability sector, which has made me travel around the world. I'm ex-Coca-Cola Asia, ex-Mercedes-AMG. I was head of electronic division for Mercedes-AMG and worked for some of the largest companies in the world. I am incredibly passionate about what I do, and that is making sustainability simple, real, and relevant, and not political. I'm a trustee and INED, so I'm an independent non-executive director, and I'm co-founder. Not 100% of people know what that means when I talk about those three posts. So really, if you want to know what it looks like to be knackered, that's me the day I joined the Navy. By the way, those two people are very different. We look very different. I wish I knew then what I know now, and I wish I also had his get up and go and his waistline as well. So that'd be nice for all of us. But my three hats. So I am the trustee of the Sheffield United Community Foundation. So Steve, very much with what you were saying around about Hull, I sit on the board of the Sheffield United Community Foundation. I also sit on a CIC called YesFest. I am an independent NED and advisor to Under One Tree, who are Southeast Asia and Japan's largest reusable packaging company, the London Stock Exchange Risk Intelligence Committee. I also sit on the board of Halion, who are a FTSE 50. We own brands like Sensodyne and things like that. Sheffield United Football Club, I sit on the board of them, and also the Sustainable Wealth Group, who's the largest VC group of sustainable financing in the world. And I am the co-founder of LTT Group. I am, as of now, 6 weeks full-time at doing this. I've now left all my executive seats fully 6 weeks ago. So I'm now fully focused on LTT Group and being the co-founder and CEO. So before we start, sustainability. It is a hotbed of words and what I like to call sustainabolics. And what that ultimately means is a load of terms that people don't know. So there might be some terms, and I use a lot of acronyms in my world because it's quite complicated, but we try and make it simple. So there's a lot of acronyms that I might use, and you might have questions at the end. And if I do talk too fast or I go over them, please. But just some things that definitely probably will come up if you talk to a sustainability professional. ESG, it's environmental, social, and governance. It is a framework. It is not sustainability. CSR, corporate social responsibility. It is very different from ESG. People put them in the same post. They talk about it in the same words. They are very different things. It is the difference between bookkeeping and accounts and actually doing full accounts on Companies House, for example. Science-Based Target Initiative, SBTI. CDP, Carbon Disclosure Project. GHGP, Greenhouse Protocol. CRP, Carbon Reduction Plan. They're all about carbon footprinting. It's a magical thing of invisible force. It's a little bit like Star Wars, where you try and work out a magical number of making something reduce. UN Global Compact is part of the United Nations. SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, owned by the United Nations. But I come at it from a world of corporate sustainability and positive impact. And like I said at the beginning, I try and make it real, relevant, and simple. So all of that, what they all actually mean, all the wonderful things in the world of sustainability, they all mean reducing a business's environmental footprint and increasing a business's social footprint. And very importantly, right now, it's proving it and not just talking about it. That's ultimately what all sustainability boils down to. It's those three things. So who are we? LTT Group, we help businesses grow. We are growth consultants who specialize in increasing positive impact, like I've just said, sustainability, to remove buyer and investor risk. So just like Emma talked about earlier, we are there to help people get investment by being greener. We're there to help them sell their business or exit their business by being greener, because that's where the money is. And we also are there to help them grow their clients or retain clients because of changing tender law and purchasing laws. But ultimately, we help businesses see positive impact as essential, not just a tick box or a political pain in the arse. I personally don't care if our clients vote to the right, to the left, vote to the middle, don't vote at all. It's what they want to do in their business that matters to us, not how they are politically. I don't expect everybody to be a bit of a tree hugger and drive an electric car like myself. That's a personal choice. What I want to do is work with their businesses. So We always start with our group, which is the LTT consultancy side, which is the first bit. All of our work starts with LTT consultancy. The aim of the consultancy is very simply to create enough value that when we create that value, they want to hire a person. So we have LTT recruitment with our group. We're very lucky that we've managed to acquire another part of another business to set that bit up. Everything we do is we have a commitment, and we top that up with the LTT Foundation, where 5% of all the revenues generated go directly to good causes. Right now in South Yorkshire, we're working with anti-knife crime and a food bank, as well as a homeless charity. But that's 5% of revenue, not 5% of profits. And our clients get a nice report of where their money's gone and done that. And that is our commitment. So who do we work with? We are focused on SMEs in the UK, US supply chains, and that's why we network, because ultimately we work with most of your clients, whether you're in law, whether you're in solicitors, whether you're in acquisition, sales, M&A, whatever growth, we work with your clients. We really look at businesses who are supplying up the chain. They're our bread and butter, and they're the ones that we help, and they're the ones that we really sell to. We specialize in healthcare, fast-moving consumer goods, tech, manufacturing, aerospace, defense, and construction. Size doesn't matter. Our smallest client right now is 2 people who supply heavily to the NHS. They are painters and decorators to the NHS. They've got to be more environmental because the NHS has legislation on purchasing. But also our biggest client is a multinational global. So we work for all bases with regards to that. And apparently, well, as far as we're concerned, with regards to networking, if growth matters to your clients, we'd love a referral, and we prefer warm referrals. What we do tends not to go down cold. We like those warm referrals and introductions, and we do that a lot. So through LMP alone, we've had several clients come through just through a quick referral, because we're either known as the ESG guys, the sustainability guys. Oh, you think purchasing's a pain in the arse? You do tenders, speak to these guys and we'll help you along. So we get a lot of referrals that way. LMP's been amazing for us, as of some of our other networks. So these are our current supply chain targets. We are currently speaking either at board level or purchasing level to every one of these organizations, and we are becoming their partner of choice to train their supply chain. So if your clients supply one of these guys directly, you'll be receiving an email from us in Q1 next year to say that we're now co-branded with these brands to become their partner of choice to upskill the SMEs. The reason we do that, very simply, is in 2025, year to date, so between January and August 2025, those companies alone released tenders to the value of £1.62 billion, all with sustainability as the main scoring criteria. So ESG was the main scoring criteria, and that's because of something I'm going to talk about in a bit. None of those did it to be more sustainable. So they had the ESG criteria as the main scoring point. It wasn't price. So if you think you can go in low and win with these guys, you can't anymore. They did it simply because big buyers need to see proof, data, traceability, and credible plans to meet their legal requirements. 2026 is the year of legislation. So a lot of those big companies release their tenders in 2025, the work starting in 2026. There are huge legislations coming into play, not just in the UK, which was brought in way before Labour. It was brought in by the Tories, which can't change, and it's gone through the House of Lords. But also there's the EU regulations. Brexit doesn't matter in these cases. And also the London Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange legislations on ESG. Legislations are tightening, and procurement must score on evidence or added value. And what we're actually moving from is something called a MEET criteria, which I'll talk about in a minute. And it now rests with corporate sustainability and strategy at board level, which is a MAT criteria. They're the types of way that people purchase now. If you don't really understand the purchasing, what that means is ever since God was a lad, all purchasing decisions and procurement pre-2026 worked like this. It was called MEET, most economically advantageous tender. That's why price was always the main scoring criteria. Price was top, then quality. And if we're really lucky, if you're going for a waste contract in a local authority, you might have ESG as a criteria, whether that is a Veolia or a Suez or water or whatever. You might have some ESG in there. It was always around price. Because of new legislation that started in 2023 but comes into force in 2026, we're moving to what's called a MAT criteria, which is most advantageous tender. And advantageous is in line with 3 particular rules: PCR 15, PPN 006, PPN 002. But what that actually means is ESG is now 60 to 90%, quality is 25 to 50%, and price is 5 to 15%. What you're actually seeing is around about a 60-30 and then a little bit of added extras on accreditations. So 60% ESG, 15% quality, 15% price, and then another little small percentage on some other bits and bobs around about what they do on in the local environment. That's law, that's legislation, that's what these guys have got to do. So anybody supplying work via tender, please refer to ourselves because we're helping them do tenders. Right now, in tenders, we've currently got around about £48 million worth of tenders currently written, waiting for award with our clients alone. Some of those clients are very small and it'll change their business completely. Some of those clients need to retain that work. It's no longer what you can say, it is what you can prove, and that is ultimately what it means for their ESG targets. When we talk about ESG, that's everything from social impact to looking after your staff internally, to looking after governance, to making sure you've got health and safety, to also being environmental. It's not just carbon footprinting. Carbon is a very, very, very small part of ESG. Okay, it's more around the social side of it, how you look after your people and don't poison your local environments. So the biggest push is this Public Procurement Act 2023. It is around about 500 billion of commerce every year that is affected under the Public Procurement Act. These 6 criteria, I'm happy to go over this in more detail when we've got a bit more time, but these 6 criteria ultimately are what's going to change massively for SMEs. There's the new payment terms, there's lots of things like that. New payment terms means that small businesses under 100 million turnover are guaranteed to be paid within 30 days net, no longer 120 days. So that's a huge shift on cash flow, meaning that SMEs can now bid. There's also the breakdown of tenders. So if you are a contractor, it no longer needs to go to a BAM or a Morgan Sindall or anything like that. You can bid for one house on a whole development if that will change your business and you can meet that. So these laws come into face and they're very large. One big thing is if you don't have ESG, the bottom right, it is now a public platform. You will get blacklisted and you will not allowed to bid for public tenders via either tier 1, 2, 3 or 4. That means all the way down to the brickie or the cement manufacturer or the steel workers or the aggregate movers or the logistics teams or the forklift driver. They won't be able to supply if they can't provide their ES and G within the tenders anymore, because there is now set KPIs that have to be for the whole of the contract. So it's no longer what you say in the tender, it's how you perform and what you do. And that's what we're here to help with. So what do we ultimately do? We turn compliance pressure into growth projects. We help buyers de-risk their supply chains. We help suppliers and subcontractors meet their KPIs and commitments that they've already said they can do, and now they've got to prove it because they're in contract. And we are aligned to how contracts are now written and managed, so we help them write their tenders or submit their tenders as well, whether that be RFPs or tenders. And we strengthen our impact narrative by doing that work for them. What makes us different? Well, because I've been doing this for a very long time, we know that there are thousands of environmental sustainability consulting businesses and there are tens of thousands of individual consultants. It is a very convoluted market. 90% of these guys annoy the absolute shit out of me because they talk about it from a tree hugging stance. They talk about it of, oh, it's a nice to have or a must do. I talk about it from a risk and growth potential. We turn buyers' demands into revenue wins. Our model is very simple, but our work is not. So, like I've said, we start to get to know their business, we understand their clients. What do they want? Do they want to exit a business? Do they want to grow their business, get investment, or do they want to actually retain or grow their clients? We then either work project-based or fractional and retained. We can do that because we've got a large team that we can throw behind this. Then we recruit and hopefully replace ourselves with a permanent hire that we help them hire. And then to cap it all off, we show the impacts by giving 5% of all revenue generated to the local causes, and that's very transparent, so people can see what we've given away versus what they paid to LTT Group, what 5% is, and where that money's gone, and the impact that's made into the community. So what do we really look for? Well, positive impact, sustainability, how I talk about it, is all about what's a risk score. So people obviously look at credit checks and things like that. But ultimately, in my world, whether it's the investment world, whether it's the purchasing world, whether it's the actual business world, we look at ESG as a risk score. So the better a company can provide ESG and back it up with the proof, the better they are actually being in positive impact. But that gives them, it helps them retain clients, it helps them grow by attracting new clients, it helps them increase the value of their business because we can get more for it. It increases their bottom line because of optimizing, it increases EBITDA significantly, and also it helps them to exit stronger because it gives them more options to actually sell their businesses, whether it's through AB shares, whatever, and lots of things. It's very operational now. High positive impact equals low risk to all of the above. Low positive impact, i.e. you're just doing it as a tick box or a compliance point of view, you're seen as high risk in the supply chain. So next steps for us. We have a free test. If you have clients that tender for work and they're unsure how they're going to score because it's a bit of a finger in the air on the new rules, we have a test. It is 9 questions. It is built with Score App, so we get their data. Obviously, they have to complete their data. We know how they score, but ultimately, it'll give them the score. It'll ask them 9 simple questions all around ESG and what they're currently doing. They can get that free score and free report from us. If they score poorly, we'll be in touch to advise them how we can help. If they score very well, fantastic. They can then go ahead and submit their tenders quite easily. They can either do it via our link, which is our website, lttgroup.uk, on Unlock Bigger Clients, or you can just pass them our QR code. I'll be sending this out as a PDF, and you can either copy and paste that QR code or whatever you want. Just send your clients to that. It is completely free. So what do we really want from LMP? How can you help us? Well as the wonderful referrals, what we really need, because it's startup life and it's hard, we would love to get the warm intros, but we want to be a little bit cheeky while I've got you here today. I am desperate for a GDPR specialist because we've paid for something and I'm not sure it does what it says. I am desperate for somebody who's a specialist in IT security. I would love somebody who can help with policy writing because I've got clients who are struggling with that and we physically don't have the time. So if you know a policy writer, and at the same, when these guys do all this wonderful work that we help them do, we want them to help go for events, submissions, and also award submissions. This has come out of nowhere. It's a bit of a bolt onto our business. We've got clients waiting to have this. So if you know anybody, if you know any businesses in LMP, please, GDPR and IT security, we need that help. Policy writing, events and award submissions, we've got clients ready for that as well, just to pass to you. So we'd love to do that. And so it's, can you spare a bit of time for a fellow LMP member? Either pass those clients to us or we'll help you and do that introduction to pass them on to your guys as well, if you know anybody with that. So what do? We really can help your clients turn sustainability into growth. We can do consultancy that pays for itself. We have a little tagline that is net zero at net cost because we unlock huge potential with tenders. Recruitment that carries on the value that we create and its impact that extends beyond our business. And that is us. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any questions?
Yeah, I've got one. Well, it's not really a question, Jonathan. We've just been shortlisted for the 4 awards that we went for. We're using a award writer. She's got us basically I think we've submitted 4 in previous years, and we've been shortlisted every time, and we've won 2 and been specially commended on the other. She's awesome. So I can definitely introduce you to Louise, who does that if you want.
Please, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we've done some great work with clients. It's award season coming up with regards to that, especially local business awards. Some of them just missed the boat, but these guys want to see that they can get ROI from that. They really can. The award submissions for doing the sustainable businesses. I see a lot of businesses winning sustainable awards, and they do very little compared to some of the businesses that we actually see, but they just don't know how to go for these awards and events.
Sure.
So we'd love to. Yeah, please.
Is it just Jonathan at lttgroup.uk? Is that the email for you?
No, info@lttgroup.uk is the best email address. But I've also put my LinkedIn in the meeting chat if you just want to forward it on to people, and we can do that work.
Cool.
And pass them on.
All right.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hiya, Sam. You're right.
I have somebody who does award writing. I got into 27 finals with this award. So I've got somebody else in the bag as well. So you've hopefully got a pick of maybe a few.
It's good.
And see which one suits best. But yeah, I will ping you her details. I'll get in touch with her and I'll do a formal introduction to you both.
No worries.
Jonathan, couple of questions and then a final one, I guess, of how we move forward. So, are you looking at sort of ESG as part of investment strategy for like investment groups? So, as part of the criteria of acquired businesses within their portfolio, that this could be a key driver of companies that score or are low risk because of their high score.
Yeah, so ultimately, obviously, I sit on the Sustainable Wealth Group, but also with regards to the London Stock Exchange Risk Intelligence Committee. So ultimately, when you look at that, there is a huge section of whether it's the angel investors, whether it's VC world, whether it's M&A. They are now scoring purely on ESG criteria because it gives a pure score. So the better we can get them on that, we know it opens up new markets. It doesn't close down old ones. It's kind of that old advantage where if you don't do it, you only have the option of these guys. If you do it, you get those guys plus all these other markets. So that's how we talk about it from a risk point of view of going to that.
Does that link with, I guess, the next question? Are you dealing at the level of people like the National Wealth Fund in terms of the actual funding for these like big projects before they even go to tender?
Yeah, and we can also go to British Business Bank and things like that with regards to that and advise these guys. So yes, we are.
Have you got some contacts within NWF at the moment?
Yeah, they are also a standalone. They're one of the subscripting partners to Sustainable Wealth Fund.
Excellent.
So,
yeah. Third question: when can we get a one-to-one?
I've put my calendar in here. Find a link. You can have 45 minutes, no problem. If you need longer, let me know. I've got different time slots. Just find one that suits me.
Load of your requests that I can service you with. So
perfect. No, that's wonderful. It's the point of networking for us guys. We understand, obviously, sustainability is it's an absolute shit word because nobody really knows what it is. That's why we try and be clear by what we want from that. Yeah. Thank you.
Just quickly, Jonathan, I can help you with both the GDPR and the IT security. I'll send you some profiles.
Thought you would, Colin. You are a man of a million connections.